Welcome back to 1010's podcast. I'm your host, Robbie. Across from me is my co-host, Dusty Nixon, and welcome back to a weekly leisure and travel podcast.
That sounds like a more that sounds like a more relaxing, successful way to categorize a podcast than automotive.
I also feel like people would want to listen, and maybe our trips and content could be more fun.
And it could be expensed.
There you go.
We just have to get, like advertisers, cash flow, that kind of thing. But
you're asking for a lot.
It sounds like a lot.
And now it sounds like work again, and I don't want it.
Yeah, for a weekly podcast that publishes once a month.
It's fine.
We go back to our advertisers and say, well, this week on our weekly podcast, check out last episode.
It clearly says this week. Every episode says next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People listen to it in between. Even if we're not recording, they're still listening.
Oh yeah, the numbers still go up. People listen.
In marketing terms, it's evergreen content.
Exactly. Like it just lasts forever. I remember.
So I had a funny thought on the way home, since it's doing like transcripting and putting chapters in these. I need to look and see if there's a way that you can. It is on Apple.
Oh,
interesting. Or I guess Spotify transcripts it. I know Apple does the chapters, so like Apple knows what we're saying. I want to know if I can like search for a term.
Oh, that would have saved Daniel so much time.
Yeah, if it can search like all of the episodes, just because I don't even remember which episode it was the audio that we played, or I don't even think I was on yet. But
I don't think you would have been.
No, yeah, that was before me, because I remember hearing it just whenever I listened to it and laughing hysterically. But
I say Michael might have still been on.
I want to go back and find it, but I don't want to go back and listen to all those shows.
I think the fastest way to find it would be to go into the consortium on Facebook, and then scroll find Daniel's post about it. I think would be your best bet. Or message him directly and say, "Hey, where is it?" And then then he'll have a task and he'll go find it.
This will be more fun. So whenever I just click on the consortium, the first thing that comes up is from 2019, and it's Adam in a dress shirt getting ready to go to Las Vegas.
Why does that pop up?
I don't. So like it does like a search window, and it has the group like link, and then the first thing down is just a post from the group, and it's from 7 years ago. That makes sense.
That was probably the last time you wore a tie or a dress shirt.
Awesome. Yeah, possibly the only time.
I'm guessing it's the only time. Yes. And if he was here, he could defend himself or back up that claim.
Yep. But he's too busy chasing storms tonight.
Chasing storms or fishing, or both.
I think him and Reed Timmer are out on the secret fishing hole.
Yeah, there's no real storms. They're just fishing.
Well, there's real storms, but there's not real storms. Hey, fishing humor.
Oh God. So we'll do a little bit of automotive, and then we'll go into travel and leisure. How about that?
Our new true passion.
Yes. So I got the Z back from Joe, and so we got our initial tune in. And have I talked about it since it's been tuned or driven? I don't think we've done a show since
I think it was at Joe's the last time we recorded, maybe.
That sounds right. So yeah, he got it basically ready to go, and then we found out that one of the cam phasers was sticking. And I think at the time we weren't sure if it was going to be like, it was just a one-time thing, or, this is going to be a thing. You need to replace these stupid things. And I think at the time I assumed I was going to have to replace them. And I assumed correctly, because Joe got to a good stopping point. I brought the car home, and then after I got back from my travel and leisure, I dove right back into it, tore the car apart, shimmed the oil pump because Boundary has the pressure or the flow, but not the pressure. So we wanted to bump up the pressure a little bit. And of course, they sell shim kits that I should have put in to begin with. But luckily, I had to take the timing cover off anyways, so all that shit had to come off. And so replace the cam phasers. And it's not that big a deal, but it's just like you take off all the accessories, you take off the timing cover, you take off the timing chain. So you basically had to retime everything, got to put it all back together. So it's like, so you get done doing all of that. It's got like, you just got done doing it out of the car. Now you get to do it in the car because I didn't want to pull the radiator. I didn't want to pull the engine. I didn't want to do any of that shit. I was just like, I can just take the cover off. I can do this in the car. And it's because I'm stubborn.
And then like 7 hours later, you realize that you would have spent like an hour taking all the stuff off the front of it. And
no, I've done this multiple times this way. So like, it's not that big a deal. It's just kind of a pain in the ass to like get the alternator off and push it out of the way and get the power steering pump and kind of like move it out of the way. So it's just kind of like getting to all that stuff while it's in the engine or in the bay is kind of a pain in the ass. But I mean, it's not so bad.
Your radiator's still stock location, right? Or is it moved for? Yeah.
No.
Because I know whenever I did a belt on mine, there's just enough room between the stock fan setup and the tensioner pulley to be able to get a wrench in there to push the tensioner over to be able to undo the belt.
Yeah,
like the fans were like pushing forward whenever I was doing it because I was leaning against them.
Yeah, with the coil radiator and then the aftermarket fans, there's an okay amount of room, and then basically I will take the fan shroud and then move it up and down depending on where I need a ratchet or bolt to fit. So like the alternator and the power steering pump, the long bolts are when you got to really fuck with things. But I mean, it went fine. It went fairly smoothly. Everything's back together. We swapped back to the 370Z injector since I'm not doing E85. And the duty cycle on those were lower than we wanted to see. So we were seeing a little bit of bank-to-bank discrepancy. So we're trying to balance that out, go back to what we know works, especially when I don't need that extra fuel when the 370Z injectors are more than fine for what we're doing. So all back together. I got to wrap up. We're not using the map sensor that's on board with Haltech anymore. So we're going to use that for barometric atmosphere temperature or pressure. And then we got a new map sensor that I'm going to put right next to the intake port. So I got to wire that in, and then it's going back to Joe. So
sweet.
So should be ready to go. Jason, the Kanakari, is trying to get me to go to Gingerman for a test day at the end of the month. So if things go really smoothly and Joe's schedule aligns perfectly, I'm probably going to do that. But I'm also not going to ask Joe to prioritize me or do anything beyond what his timeline allows. So if it doesn't work, I'll do something in May.
So the decision to not do E85, is it just because you don't need the extra power? Or
I don't need it, and I also don't want to deal with it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to show up to an event and have 4 cans of E85 that isn't E85. Or
been there.
Or I don't want to go to CMP and the closest E85 is 80 fucking miles away.
Yeah.
Like it's just I got enough shit to deal with. I don't want to deal with that, and I don't need it because we talked about doing it because we could run cooler. You could do X, Y, and Z with it, and it was just kind of like these are all wants, and right now I'm still working on like needs and priority. Like that's not the priority yet. So so it's
that is 100% the experience we had. We attempted to run it with a carburetor at one point, and then we attempted to run it as a secondary setup with the fuel injection after we got it going. And yeah, we wasted like 3 hours on a dyno session one time because the fuel that I got from the place up here that everybody trusts was 40% and not 85%. And yeah, if you put E35 or E40 into a car and switch over the maps the way they're supposed to be, it runs like dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. No, I mean, and I got enough friends that have had very similar experiences, or just where it's just, and like when we're chasing 1% to 2%, and something like that happens, like like there's a change within a couple of percent on the dyno. You can pop the dyno and you're done. So I really don't want to fucking deal with it. So.
Yeah, and people look at you real weird if you go to a gas pump with like a little clear tube and you're like filling it up with gas and then pouring water in it and shaking it around. Around here they look at you like you're cooking meth.
They probably look at us the same way here. I would have to pick and choose my E85 stations based on the meth people, so that they I fit right in. We're all doing our weird meth things.
Yep. That guy's taking apart his TV. Everything's fine.
It's fine. But yeah, all that. It's going smoothly. Nothing that's happened is like overly surprising to me. I assume I'm gonna get a couple gotchas or hiccups or whatever along the way. So the fact that like fighting to get prime on that oil pump to begin with was one of those things. Like, of course, I fucking had to deal with it, and then realizing that there's a reason they sell shims for those, so you get a higher oil pressure. So yeah, we probably should have looked more into that and started there, and then probably should have done a better job picking which cam phasers I pulled out of the boxes, because I went with the one that visually looked the best, not thinking about what engine it came out of. And it's like, yeah, that came out of the drift engine, so that one's fucked.
Oh no!
So that one's fucked. And I was right. So.
That one has been pre-limited.
Yep. So that one's been. I took it apart, and actually, what I thought, I took one of the really ugly looking ones, and I took it apart, and I was like, I bet I could change this. And then I, like, without taking the whole cover off, like I could, like, that part of the front cover has access to it. So if I wanted to, I could take out just the guts and replace the guts. I'm like, guarantee though, if I do that, I'm going to ruin 2 of them now. So it wasn't worth it.
But that seems like, so I have PTSD from my childhood of like, oh man, this little like truck that has a motor in it. It's so cool, but it's like, it's got something a little bit wrong with it. I bet I can take it apart and fix it. And then as soon as that last screw comes out, stuff flies everywhere. That's what I picture whenever I look at those cam phasers. Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. It's like 2 slip gears, kind of, for lack of a better term. Like they fit within themselves, and they obviously can rotate within, however many degrees it allows, right? And then basically the fingers where they intersect have these little tiny like wipers and little tiny spring things that hold them against the walls. So there's 8 of them. So if you pull it apart, you have 8 springs that just go there. Mm-hmm. And then all the little wipers have to go, like, and it goes back just so. And
yep, that's 100% the tiny monster truck that I took apart when I was like 7.
Yep.
like 8 springs popped out of it, never to be seen again.
Yep. But yeah, so that's where we're at with the Z. We're in the home stretch. It sounds so much better with that engine. Like we didn't change anything with the exhaust, but like the different intake manifold spacer, the different cams, and the different piston geometry totally changed the sound of that engine. It sounds so good.
And a little more compression.
More compression, and then it's got more RPMs. Not all of the RPMs that we wanted, but it's got them. So it sounds good. And then Joe's been experimenting with different traction control techniques. So even just like his first shot at his Rev 2 basically is already leaps and bounds better from where we started last year. So it's the direction he's taking. It's really good. So I'm excited.
So with the traction control, is that getting it to where, like, coming off the apex of a corner, you can just put it to the floor with reckless abandon, and it will just maximize the acceleration to what the tire's capable of?
Yeah, basically that. So the way think you described it when Ferris was like driving around Gingerman, and it sounded like his car was having all these problems, but it was because it was keeping him perfectly traction controlled the whole time.
Yeah,
that's kind of where we're aiming for.
Yeah.
Where it's just like you can tell it's doing its thing and it's correcting me and keeping me out of trouble. Whereas last year it was the way it was set up was basically to keep me out of trouble. Like if I really fucked up, it would catch me and keep me off the wall. Whereas now we've had time to like dive into it more. By we, I mean Joe has and kind of changed the logic on how he goes about it.
Yeah,
and I'm not even going to try to speak to it because that's not. But the logic behind
because it's a closely guarded racing secret, of course.
Obviously, not because I don't truly understand exactly what he's doing. It's because it's a guarded secret. Yeah. But yeah, so even just the quick test drive I took out, just kind of got on it, and obviously cold tires on street, and it just kicks me out, and it just catches me and lines me right back up. I was like, oh. And that wasn't even on like catch me settings. It was just like it's there. Like I got the dial from 1 to 12, and I think it was on like 3 or 4 at that point.
This one goes to 12.
This one, yep. So I'm excited to spend a bunch of time like tuning that and getting it dialed in and experimenting and all that stuff. So it'll be fun.
My brain is still loosely programmed at this point to driving. The Camaro was it had so much mid-range torque that I drove it so much with the throttle, just with the slip of the rear tires, as far as positioning the car and rotating it and everything, that the thinking through how to program like the slip level and all of that stuff of a setup like that, it kind of hurts my brain.
Yep, and there's multiple ways to go about it, and there's like different inputs you can use, and slip angles, all that stuff. So it'll be fun. That's the stuff we get excited about because it's trial and error and experimenting and actually like developing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I'll go back to him, get the final tune on it, be ready to go. And then, because like these cams are exactly what I asked for. So it's power as early as possible, as hard, like it comes on immediately. But it's like not a lot more power than what we had before. And then it has an extra like 1,000 or 1,200 RPM beyond where we left off on the last engine. So it's the overall power below the curve is going to be significantly better.
Yeah.
And then having power so much earlier is going to be again where the traction control is really going to show itself.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what like the second motor we did for the Camaro, we spec'd the cam to where it just, like, it still had 7,000 RPM in it, but the range on that cam was like 3,000 to 7,000.
Yep.
And it would run off of a corner, which the way the goofy truck arm suspension worked, it put down power really well, but it would run with cars that made a lot more power than it did purely because it was just there. It was like an electric motor coming off of a corner. Like it was just however far you pushed in the pedal was how hard it pulled.
Yep.
And no matter what RPM it was at. So that's it. It's I'm excited to see what the difference is on track for sure.
Yes. And if it's not any better, we're just done with all this. We're just gonna.
It's opening day. There's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, exactly. It's all uphill from here.
It's all uphill.
Whatever you want to say. And then I've just been screwing around on the 300ZX. The other day, like, so my thought process. I don't have any pictures or anything. My thought process was that I was gonna tinker on the 300ZX, get the engine bay painted, and then get the brakes in. And then, because like I can run all the new lines, because it's completely gutted, so there's no lines or anything besides like in like none in the engine bay, and then like all the rubber hoses need to be replaced. So obviously going to stainless. And then so my plan was to paint the engine bay, do the brakes, and then so I was gonna like took the calipers off and I was looking at them, decide what I wanted to do, and then just coincidentally somebody had posted the Rofu like upgrade kit. So like front calipers, rotors, pads, like new in box. Somebody bought it, sold the car, and I was just like, so I was talking to Jess. I was mathing it out. I was like, well, I have the iron calipers on front, and they always came with the aluminums in the rears. And I was like, and they've been, it's been sitting for a decade. So the pistons inside are rusted, like at least on the surface rust where it meets the pads. And then obviously they need to be refreshed. They need new seals. Like I'm going to replace the lines anyways. So I'm like mathing it out on like powder coating them and getting them redone. And I was just like, but this guy's selling this brand new set for the fronts at least for like $100 more than it would be for me to just refresh these. Yeah, and it's not the aluminum.
To have to go through all of that work.
Yeah, and I kind of was talking through it, and she's like, why are we even talking about this? Just go get them. So that's what we did on Sunday, is that we went and picked them up. And of course the guy Facebook sucked me. He's like, do you race? I do, actually. Well, I did. Depends. Yeah, I was going to say I have.
Well, and that depends on what the next question, what the follow-up question is going to be.
There was definitely that.
Kind of like being at a party and going, "Oh, you work in an auto parts store?" Oh no.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. But no, I mean it's slowly coming along. I still think I'll be. This time next year will be kind of when I'm hoping to have it ready to go. But I don't know, when things pop up on Marketplace, that turns into the next little part of the project. So
I'm like, oh, hey, here's the deal.
Yep. That's how I got the engine. That's how I got the front brakes. And that reminds me, I need to message that guy about the oil pan.
You need a vanity plate that's like an acronym for "Is this still available?" or something like that.
Not a bad idea. I'm kind of real dead set on getting the Dolly Parton plate because there's a Dolly Parton Ohio license plate and I need it. And if people ask why, it's just because it's funny. And because
I still think you need a Dolly Parton plate on the race car. That way, whenever you pass somebody, that's the final little middle finger.
when I register it for the street, I will absolutely have to. Because I never did that when I moved here. Because when you move to Ohio and it's an out of state title transfer, they have to inspect the vehicle.
Oh,
and so like. I wasn't going to. I was
real. Need to go find the right kind of shop. It's literally just inspecting to see that it has, the VIN and the mileage. Well, obviously mine's going to be mileage discrepant now. So like I don't really so I really don't love the idea of like that being labeled on my title, even though it's obvious and it doesn't matter. But it was one of those things like I would have to drag the truck, the trailer, and the race car to the what do they call them? BMV here. And then have them do 3 separate forms to do inspections on all of them so I could do my title transfers. And I was just like, I don't really plan on driving this on the street ever. Except like maybe up and down the street to verify something's working, but not actually like driving even to the gas station. So yeah, it just wasn't worth the hassle. But we'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind. Just leave an Iowa plate on it and play dumb.
I have E-Man owns a shop. I can just borrow one of their plates.
Yeah. What good is committing a crime unless you can involve your friends with it?
Exactly. It's insured. I mean, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, that's the bigger one.
Yeah. I mean,
in Texas, the license plate's one thing. Insurance is a whole other.
Yep. Which is fair. No, that always has been insured, and even though it's just like whatever the lowest one is, like basically if I cause the problem, I'll cover their shit, but none of my shit's covered. But yeah, it's it's there.
liability and uninsured motorists. That's the which I need to drop mine back to that. Like I don't drive it that much, and I still have comprehensive on it, and it just sits in the garage the majority of the time. But
I know in the past we've used it to bundle and get. It was more expensive to put whatever on the Z, but it was way cheaper to bundle it with the house. So like I don't know, I have an insurance agent that I'm just like, here's all my things, and do whatever you have to make all of this work in the cheapest package.
Yeah, find me the best deal and make sure that I don't get screwed if something bad happens.
Yep. No, we had that a couple times where like everything was all set up, and then I get a phone call and it's like, hey, what was it? Doesn't matter. XYZ insurance companies that you're with right now is going to up their rates again. So we're shopping you around for all of them. Cool. Just let me know. So that basically was just like, yeah, don't pay it yet because we're going to probably put you somewhere else. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I need to find a person like that because
I still use the one in my hometown. Like my parents always used them. And then when I went to college, it was just as simple. It was like, you send them an email, they take care of everything. You get a bill in your email, you just pay it. Yeah. And they don't none of the money goes to them. It's just it pays the insurance company. So every time that I've done anything, I just fire off the email. They take care of it. Done.
Yeah, I need to find one of those people because we just basically bounce back and forth between Geico and Progressive every couple of years because they suck you in with a good deal and then they count on you not paying that much attention to it, or it kind of being a pain in the ass to switch, and they just kind of ratcheted it up a little bit. But
yep,
it has kind of slowed down the last couple of years. So
yeah, no, we've only gotten. Well, I guess I did notice because Ohio's so weird about their trailers is that my insurance dropped on the trailer, and we didn't notice it because they don't insure it like a vehicle. What was the deal?
It's like a homeowner's policy or something.
Yeah, because I think we had it on a separate policy, and then we moved here, and then it dropped, and I didn't notice it. So then when I was going through all my stuff to make sure I had like up to date shit before we started doing things this year, and making sure like all the glove boxes had the right stuff, and I was like, wait a second, I don't have anything for the trailer. So I got a hold of it and was like, hey, what happened here? And then sure enough, it's like it was originally like. In Iowa, it was like part of our homeowners or our like auto insurance, but then when we moved to Ohio, it just like disappeared. So I don't know if I went all last year without insurance on my trailer, but either
it's just a trailer.
We figured it out, and that's why I asked. I was like, so is this like included in homeowners? And like if I was in an accident, would it technically be covered by that, my umbrella, and my truck insurance? And she's like, well, technically no. But we can get you insurance on it easy enough. I was like, okay, let's just put whatever we got to do.
Yeah, I had a fun one talking about the making sure that all of the right paperwork is in the right places. The first time I pulled my trailer, I don't remember what I was doing this year, but I got out there and I was like, that registration sticker says 2024 on it because we just have a tag on the license plate on it. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I put that in my glove box. Well, I go in my glove box, and that was the one from 2025. I'm like, So I pull up the dashboard for the state. It's current. I don't know where the 2026 sticker is. So I put the 2025 on it. I was like, oh, this is slightly less illegal. We'll call it good.
It's less likely to get attention.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Ohio's really weird about trailers is because if it's less than 4,000 pounds, and it regardless of size, it doesn't get a title. And I was real confused on how I was going to do that because I had to get registration on it, and I had an Iowa title. So they obviously weren't going to use my Iowa title, but they also weren't going to title it in Ohio if it was less than 4,000 pounds. So I had to go and get it weighed. It was like, I don't know, 4,060 or something, like just over the threshold, which they're like, oh, I'm sorry. It has to, you have to get your title. I was like, no,
I'm
I
fine.
wanted a title. I was going to put weights in the trailer and make it 4,001 if I had to. I didn't want to fucking deal with this.
Yeah, throw a couple VQs in there. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas under a certain weight, it's optional. You can either use just a bill of sale or like certificate of origin, or you can get a title.
Sure.
And whenever we got this one, it's super like it's light. It's like 20. It's not even 2,000 pounds on it. Or it's probably, I guess it's listed on the thing as like 2,500.
Okay.
And the girl at the title office is like, "Are you sure that's what it weighs?" And then it was actually built in Oklahoma. So then we had to get it inspected,
Of course.
and then show an inspection to be able to get the title for it. And it was like 3 different trips to the thing, and, and the same girl every time. And she's like, "Okay, I think you got everything this time." I'm like,
Yep.
At least I've made an impression, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, I think I went actually between myself and Jess, we went at least 5 times last year. But like things weren't a priority. Like if I had up to date stuff on it, it wasn't a priority. So like I would go and try to get it done, and then I'd have to go and get other shit done. So like yeah, the trailer took a while to get actually transferred. Everything else went fairly smoothly. I still have not transferred the title on the ZX yet. But it was dated again because you have to have a fucking notary when you buy things here. So it had been notarized long before I had purchased it. So it was still the previous title. So that's notarized with a date from like 2022. So I was going to pay back fees anyway. So it's like, well, if I would drag my feet long enough.
Yeah, you'll get to pay the back fees and then actually drive it instead of.
Well, if in Iowa, if you drug your feet over 3 years, it instead of being like it would ramp up over a certain amount of time, you know. So it would go from like $50 late fee, $100 late fee up to, and it would peak at like $350 or something. But if you waited 3 years, it automatically dropped back down to $50 because it clearly had not been on the road.
Yeah.
And so, because I had gone in and tried to get the 350Z that way, and they said, like, you're only like, do you like, are you driving this on the road? And I was like, clearly not. And and they're like, well, it's already been X, Y, Z.
Obviously not.
Yeah. And it had been enough years, and she's like, if you just wait 6 more months, it's only going to cost you $50. And I was like, well, I'll see you in the spring then, because like I'm not, and I'm hoping. I
didn't really want to do this while there was snow on the ground anyway.
Yeah, I'm hoping Ohio's similar in that way because, like, again, whether it's 2020, it's 2022 on the notary and the signatures, so it's like whether it was this year, next year, or the year after, it's like I'm gonna have to pay whatever I have to pay.
I think whenever we got my truck, in which I was like 12 at the time, but we had to put insurance on it to do a title transfer, and this truck was like we dragged it out from behind a gas station that it had been sitting at for like 20 years.
This is a C10,
this truck
right?
was. Yeah. This truck wasn't going to be on the road for several years, and we had to put an insurance policy on it to change the title over. And I was like, really?
Yep.
And also might have maybe had to perform like a seance to get a signature on the whole title, but you know.
Yeah. The whole notary thing. Like, I mean, luckily you could just go to a bank. It's not a big deal. But like, if you're trying to do any sort of sale on the weekend or Sundays or whatever, like you got to know somebody or pay somebody, which is really annoying. So yeah, buying vehicles is not as easy as it should be here. But whatever. But yeah, I'm sure the ZX will have an insurance on it long before it has the title transferred. Because I'll get to a point where I was like, hey, I got some time and money into this thing. I should probably insure it. Because right now it's like whatever. But like, yeah, give it 6 months. I'll start to care. But now to the travel and leisure section of the show.
Travel and leisure. Brought to you by
Petrobox, mypetrobox.com. Use the code TTP15 for 15% off that first box. And if you're not doing that, you are failing because it's awesome. I get mine every month. And this is the first time in I don't know how long that I'm actually wearing a shirt that's not a Petrobox shirt. That's all of my wardrobe.
I was wearing a Petrobox shirt Sunday. I got compliments at the Costco.
I was going to say about every Sunday is probably about when I wear mine. But yeah, so Petrobox, mypetrobox.com. So last January, my wife wanted to surprise me for my birthday, because like she always wants to do something for my birthday, and we're kind of like terrible about doing things for each other on like holidays and whatnot, or like, you know, birthdays and whatnot, because like we both are just like, I don't really care or want to do anything. And so, but then
grown ass adults.
Yeah, we're adults with no kids. Like, it's just like we don't have to make it special. And I don't really like, once you hit a certain age, who cares? And so this year on my actual birthday, I wasn't in the mood for like, I didn't want to go to a fancy dinner. I didn't want to have like a bunch of socializing. All I wanted to do was go to Cincinnati, eat at the sushi restaurant I like, and then go get groceries at Jungle Jim's. That was it. I didn't want ice cream. I didn't care. Like I just that was like the quiet night that I wanted, and that's what I got. But Jess has been dead set on doing something nice for me on my birthday for a long time. And so she was going to surprise me with a trip, but then realized that maybe we should talk about that before, one, before booking it, and two, before deciding on where we were going. And so
that's from the makers of the Lexus commercials at Christmas time. That's like, honey, I got you a GX5. That's a $70,000 purchase. Do not surprise me with with an 8-year loan.
I don't like those surprises. But so she had kind of thought about doing a trip, and since we did the SCCA National Convention in Vegas in 2019, I've always talked about going back to Vegas and actually exploring the city, seeing the things that I didn't get to see. And so she was like, let's do it. And so she threw out the idea of doing Vegas for my birthday, and doing a trip that, because my birthday is the second week of January. So doing that close to Christmas obviously is probably not going to work. So we had just been gone dealing with, enjoying family time.
Freud was right.
Yeah. So enjoying family time. But yeah, so like, you travel to Iowa, Missouri, and then come back, and just in time to turn around and travel again. So it's like, no, it's not.
Tulsa.
Yep, and Tulsa. And so like doing a trip that quickly was just kind of like, let's wait. And then she's like, well, let's do it at the end of the month. And I was like, okay, great. And then she had it kind of picked out, and then it's like, then we talked about it and changed our minds again. Like, let's wait until it's a little nicer out, and then settled on in March. But what was really funny is that the weekend she had planned originally was the weekend of AVN, like the Adult Video Expo. And so when I told her, I was like, I told her that after we'd found out, after we'd booked the March trip, and whatever reason I'd noticed, I was like, hey, that weekend that you suggested was that weekend. She's like, oh, we totally would have gone. Are you kidding me?
Easy for her to say after the fact.
Yeah. Actually, I believe her though. Unless it would have been like crazy expensive to go, I bet she would have gone.
Knowing how weird Vegas is on a normal random weekend,
pretty wild.
I can't imagine.
Yep. So, short story long is that she booked a trip for us to go to Vegas, even though her words, I hate Vegas. And so she'd only been there for bachelorette parties, had no interest, we're sober now, so she had no interest in going back. And so I talked about this and kind of beat her down into it, where it's just like, okay, you want to do this, let's go. And so we went, it's been a couple weekends ago now. And so the intent was just to kind of do the things that I hadn't gotten to do. And so, got into town, and then one of the things I wanted to do was swing over to Brock Racing Enterprises. So he does the Aero Vault now, does some design stuff, and then obviously they have like a storefront where you can go and buy like merch and whatnot, so like shirts, posters, whatnot. And so,
background for people who might not recognize that name. Datsun 510s with a red, white, and blue livery that raced in like SCCA Cobra Daytona Coupe. He was the guy that like penned those lines.
Yep. The split window Corvette.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, so Peter Brock is, by all accounts, he's the brain behind the design cues that I like in cars. So like the general silhouette of my favorite cars are basically derivatives of his designs. So like, yeah, like the split window Corvette, the Shelby Daytona Coupe, the Datsun 240Z, that general shape has always been my favorite. And so I've always been attracted to the BRE Datsuns. And even like, obviously, if you've been paying attention to my racing, the first livery I did on my 350Z was a knockoff BRE, what I considered a modernized version of the colors, using silver and then metallics rather than the white and blues that they use and reds. And so we swung over there Friday morning and just, real small shop, just small storefront. And then he wasn't there. Peter wasn't there. He was actually at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for some big car show that was going on that oddly enough I wasn't even aware of. And so picked up a couple posters and was chit-chatting with the guy that was kind of running the storefront. And then we went and found lunch, and then I had obviously posted in the group chat that I had been there. And then so you and E-Man were like, oh, I'll go back and get me a shirt. And it was funny because we're sitting there eating lunch, just like, oh, do we really have to go back? And I was like, well, I mean, it's right there. Let's just go grab the shirts, and then we'll go do what the rest of the stuff we were going to do. And so we swing back over there, and the guy's like, oh, hey, it's you again. And then we're
like, we're
yep. My friends needed shirts, so we're back. And then he's like, well, funny you're back.
My asshole friends.
Yeah, he's like, funny you should mention it. Peter's upstairs. And so then he goes and gets him, and he comes downstairs and like, we quick do an introduction, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm just I'm in town for the weekend. I always wanted to just stop by and basically buy a poster, show some respects or whatever. And he's like, and he goes and he goes, well, do you want a tour?
Cool.
That's an option.
Okay,
that's an option. Yeah. I was like, oh, no. Well, at this point, Jess didn't come back in the second time. She's just waiting in the car. I was like, let me get my wife. So I go get her.
2 hours later.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, me, like I hate being the guy that overstays his welcome. So it's like trying to keep it as short as he would, as short as I could allow and then not be in his hair all day. So, it goes back and they're building one of those Aero Vault trailers. So he shows us that, and we're talking about it, of course. And again, like his design. So he's talking through the design of it, which I thought was really cool. And then we go right next to it, is like, he's got like a small design studio set up where he's doing, oh, come on. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once here. So he's got like a design studio with a clay car set up and a bunch of design sketches on the wall. And so he's working on a new design, which of course is very similar to kind of like the Datsun 240Z or like that same silhouette shape. And so you got old pictures of him from like all the way back to like the 60s and 70s of him working on different designs. And I don't know anything about the new design that he's working on, but he's working on a new concept of a car. And so he's just showing me all that, and I'm just like, this is the coolest thing ever. And I'm just like nerding out, and I don't even know what to say, and just like, you're amazing. Just this is so cool.
That's what I said whenever you mentioned that you got to like get the tour from him. I wouldn't have any idea what to say. Like there's only been a few, like around automotive stuff, there's only been a few times that I've run into somebody or like ended up like having a conversation with somebody that I was just like dumbfounded about what to say, and he would 100% be one of those people. I would just be like stumbling 510 Daytona.
And it helps that he's so personable and like, you know, it's one of those things like I'm clearly showing an interest in the things that he's an expert in or the things that he's proud of. So it doesn't take much to just kind of like get him going to just talk. So it's like I didn't have to say much of anything. And it was
he's had a lifetime of talking to people that didn't know what the hell to ask him. So
yeah, and then like his story isn't quite so like publicly available. Like it's not like Carroll Shelby. Like, you know, like most people, even the people that aren't super familiar with Carroll Shelby, do know a lot of his story. Whereas Peter Brock is not that way. Like, you know, you don't have movies about him that are just everywhere. That like you don't know all this stuff, you know, without trying. So the stuff that I do know, I had to like actually actively look up. So it's not, and so like I'm far from an expert. So like it's cool to just kind of drop by and have him be there, and then do the tour and then so he was also working on another Datsun that they're restoring, and then they had the old Datsun 510 that they raced in the Baja 1000, which would have been 1969. And so,
that car looks so cool.
And it's exactly as it was raced back in the 60s. Like they have not done any sort of restoration. They have not fixed anything. And I should have took a better picture. But like, cause this would have been a Datsun or, Nissan backed effort with them. And so they would have had the engineer from, I guess we'll just say, Datsun. I don't know if it was technically Nissan, but Datsun would have been there. And so there's a like in the picture that I'm showing here, he's pointing to the hood. And so, not Peter Brock, but the guy that works for him. And so he's pointing to the hood because there's a gigantic hole in it. Because during the race, the suspension failed. And even when it showed up, Peter's like, yeah, that's not gonna last. I'm like, yeah, but it's the guy that designed it is the engineer that's running with you, so you really can't.
You can't tell him it's not.
You can't shit on it in front of him and tell him it's not gonna work. But of course, like it failed. They had to like constantly keep replacing it, but they left it that way because when it failed, it would just keep poking holes into the hood and clearance itself. So there's a hole in the hood from the suspension where it failed exactly where he said it would fail, and it just like, but yeah, that race car in its racing condition still is just sitting there.
That's amazing.
Yep.
So that he did the thing where Niki Lauda showed up at the first Ferrari test, and they said, "No, you can't say that." And he's like, "Oh, I'll say it."
Yep. And he was right. So yeah, we weren't there very long. It was one of those like he was nice enough to take the time to bullshit with somebody who has no idea who he is, and then show me the whole shop. And again, it's just him and a couple of people. Like it's a very small shop. It's not like a big effort by any stretch. So the fact that he was there and the fact that he took the time to chit chat with me and just show me around was really, really cool. So then I got you a shirt. I got E-Man a shirt. I'll get it to you eventually.
Sweet.
I would mail it to you, but I'll see you eventually.
Yeah, July,
June, July, August, September.
July. Yep.
Yeah, June. So yeah.
So yeah, I was curious how old he is. I found it's not on his Wikipedia.
He's not young.
Yeah, it's not on his Wikipedia page, but well, yeah. I mean, like he was a high up designer in the early 60s. Like,
yeah, he got hired by GM out of which I don't know if that would be design school, but like he was hired at 19 by GM at GM.
So I found a Facebook post that from like a Shelby club that lists his birthday as November 15th, 1936. So that dude's about to be 90.
Yep. I was gonna say I was pretty sure he was in the 80s comfortably.
Yeah. Still designing stuff and
very, very active,
just working on what he wants to work on, which is pretty badass.
That's the dream. So it'll be really cool to see what that clay design that he's working on, what that turns into. Because like if you go to his website too, you can kind of see like he's still going to events often, and I knew that this was a weekend that he wasn't scheduled on to be somewhere like traveling away. So I knew there was a chance that I would meet him, but yeah, definitely didn't have any expectations. But yeah, very cool, very nice guy. Yeah, just sometimes it is cool to meet your heroes. It works out.
Yeah. In the car world, I've found that to be true more often than not. Especially like people that have been around and done a bunch of stuff like that. Like a lot of the times they're just super chill and happy to. And I think a lot of the time they're happy that somebody is a third their age and is passionate about what they've done for their lives. So
yeah. Because I told them that I did the knockoff livery on my 350Z, but like I didn't pull it out. But like, see, I have to show you. But I definitely
look at this. Don't you think it's better?
Yeah, isn't this the same? Well, I did do it differently because if you look at the Datsun, their logo has the same angle as like the same angle and opposite direction of the A pillar. So when they did the 370Zs with those same concepts, that angle doesn't work for the logo in my opinion. So they made it too big. So when I did mine, I completely broke the mold or the rule of having it match your pillar because I didn't like the way it looked. But so like yeah, it works perfect on a Datsun 240Z, but it doesn't work perfect on a 370Z in my opinion.
Yeah, that's my little blacked out rocker and little Dayglow yellow stripe it's an upside down backwards version of that same kind of stripe.
Yep.
Just because that's all there really is to do on a Nissan. So
exactly.
Unless you're going to full on do the Super GT livery.
Yeah. After that, we went over to the Shelby Heritage Museum. Another thing that I've always wanted to do. And let's see, pictures, things. And so we get there, and so it's not that like it's a pretty decent factory setup because they have, I think they have, oh shit, what'd they say? Like 60 full-time builders, mechanics,
so that
maybe it was even less than that.
Whenever we went out there for Optima, they would always do on Saturday night, the road rally would be to drive from Las Vegas Motor Speedway back into town, and it was a car show / dinner thing at their headquarters, factory / showroom thing. So I couldn't remember. I was thinking they had moved at some point, but I'm pretty sure this is still the same spot we would go to.
Yeah, so it's kind of by the airport. Yeah, so you walk in, and then there's the only way I can describe it is basically a merch area, just like a Harley Davidson dealership.
Well, it's a similar clientele.
It's exactly. I mean, it's exactly the same. It's Shelby merch as far as you can see, in every shape and color, on every possible we got belt buckles, golf clubs, the whole deal, everything. So we get in there, and we were just gonna kind of just check it out. We didn't really have any plans. And they're like, well, we do the VIP tour or whatever, where you get a person that walks around and talks through the whole thing, and then you can go back and see the shop, and then you, as part of it, you get a free T-shirt. Air quote free because you pay for it, but but you get a T-shirt.
Some things about Carol's legacy live on, and the first thing is that if it says Shelby on it, it's not free.
It's not free. Your $60 entry gets you a $30 shirt. That type of setup. And so Jess was like, well, let's do it, because it was I would say 12:45 or whatever, and the next tour that won. So yeah, we did it. Went around, and so this lady would walk through the showroom area and kind of talk about the important cars, obviously even the history of the Shelby GT350, the 500, stuff like that. And we're not going to get into the history of he hated the 350, and the only reason he picked it was because it was 350 steps from one guy's office to his, and then the reason the GT500 is called the 500 is simply because 500 is bigger than the 350. Like that's it. So it's just like it's funny that things like that, like where it just it didn't mean anything, but
things that were completely arbitrary turned into like complete legend and folklore. And,
yes. But yeah, so it was cool that they had like the GT40s and stuff there. So I mean, I never tire of seeing like a authentic, legitimate GT40, and they, like they had a couple there that just in mint condition.
The powder blue with the
orange,
around the headlights, and I think that's like a Mark 2 or 3.
Maybe 2 or 3.
It's a later one.
Yep.
It's not a Mark 4. It's not the like the ultimate like crazy slippery looking one, but yeah. Yep. That's way up there on my like cars that stop me dead in my tracks if I see one.
Yep, always. Like even a like a super performance or even like a well done kit car, I'll stop and admire it. Like it's just it has that presence even if it's not real.
Yeah.
And so so like we're going around the tour, and we stop and talk about the GT40 and give us a bunch of fun facts about it, and behind the GT40 is a picture of what's the, I don't know, the
Is
top
that Bob Lutz.
Yeah, there's a top picture of the Omni GLH, and then the Daytona thing, and so we're sitting there. I'm like no one is even noticing these pictures, and I'm sitting there looking at it, and like she finishes her stuff about the GT40s, and I kind of like interrupt her. I was like, hey, so when they were developing the these Omnis and stuff, like how involved was Carol? She kind of laughed. She's like, not at all. And she's like, in fact,
they updated his address to make sure that the check got there.
In fact, he was retired at the time, and Lee Iacocca brought him back to help sell those things because they couldn't. And I was like, oh, so this is where I kind of wish Adam was on the show, because I'm going to burst his bubble, because he has that one of none supercharger that they tested when they were developing it.
Carol handpicked that. I'm pretty sure.
Not even a little bit. And so that was my question. I was like, so like the reason I ask is because my buddy's got this one of none supercharger from when they were developing these cars. So curious who would have been involved. And she's like, well, Carol would have never touched that. Probably never saw it. Lee Iacocca might have. So Adam thinking he has a supercharger that shall be welded. Probably not real. There's probably not many things he's actually welded in real life. It was kind of her takeaway. No. He didn't wrench on any of these cars. None. No. He was not the wrencher. He would bring wrenchers in.
There was in Ford versus Ferrari, there's a scene where some famous person comes to try to pick up their Cobra. And then he tells the guys that they need to get that Cobra out of there and paint it a different color where he can go and sell it to somebody else.
Yep.
So I think that was, aside from assembling a great team of people that could build a car that could win a race, I think Carol's main strength in things was figuring out how to make money flow through it.
Absolutely. Because the Shelby Cobra that is in like all the magazines, the original one, there's like 6 of them with 6 different colors. It's the same car. Yeah. It's the same one, just different color for every magazine. Just make it look more professional than it was. He knew how to hustle. So then we did that, and then the other thing that stuck out to me during that part of the tour was that they had 2 of those, everyone calls them the chrome Daytona and Cobra. They're not chrome. That's all polished aluminum.
Polished aluminum, yeah.
And then
that full polished Daytona coupe, which the day, like I'm gonna find one of the Factory 5 cars at some point and
Yeah.
just be a glutton for punishment and own it for a few years just to say that I did, because that,
Yep.
like you talking about
That's
Pete Brock informing you, like Pete Brock informing the way that cars should look in your brain. Like that car, it's like that car and a P-51 Mustang to me are the two like most perfect like industrial forms ever created by man.
Yep.
Like that car is so perfect in every way. And
Yep. So there's a guy that basically I replaced at EWI. His name's Stan, and big car guy. He built actually literally these. He built a kit Cobra, and then as he was retiring, and I was getting to know him a little bit before he left, he was wrapping up his build on this like beautiful Daytona kit car that he was putting together. And so he had just sold the Cobra, and I told him, I was like, man, if you ever want to sell that Daytona, please call me first. I won't be able to, but I want to at least know him. I want to know.
I want the right of first refusal.
Yes, please. Because he did such a good job on it. But yeah, so the crazy thing is like these are polished aluminum with no like clear coat, no nothing. So like you can see where people have got their dirty fingers on them and ruined them. Like there are fingerprints burned into these cars because they're polished aluminum just to the world.
It gives me anxiety, and also it's really, really cool.
It's amazing. But man, what a mess.
The first P-51 I got to see like up close, just walking up to it, and this was there was a museum just outside of Dallas that this thing was flight worthy, like goes to shows and everything, and it was just sitting in a hangar with nothing within 30 feet of it in any direction, and it was just pointed out the doors.
Uh-huh.
And we walked across, and I looked just down the nose of it, and it's, full polished with the insignias and stuff on it, and that it was a whole thing to just walk into this big hangar where it's just basically by itself, and that car has the same presence to it of just like man.
Absolutely wild. And then we toured the factory, and like honestly, I'm not all that interested in anything new Shelby stuff, like any of the new Mustangs, stuff like that. Like I just, it's whatever. I mean the newest one, like the one that I don't know, the $275,000 Mustang you can buy, really cool looking, but man, that's crazy money.
So between, and I just listened to a Smoking Tire episode where they were talking to Von Gittin, and like this stair-step Mustang ladder of like GT, Dark Horse, GTD, and then now you've got the RTR cars in there that has, like, he's got like the Spec 5 RTR car is now like $175,000. It's 800 horsepower, and it's this giant wide body that's based off of like the FD cars and stuff. It's like this. There's too much money.
Yeah, I clearly don't understand it. I don't understand money at all.
Which whenever we were doing the Optima deals there, the Shelby Raptor was the real big thing at that time. I think the Mustang, they were doing Mustangs, but that big work area had probably like 30 trucks in process in it.
Yeah, I'm totally blanking on the numbers, but yeah, the number of trucks and like just the number of Mustangs they do per year was pretty wild to me.
I'm like, you're rolling a car, for a Raptor, you're rolling a $75,000 truck off the line and then shipping it to them to do like $50,000 worth of work to it, or more.
Yeah, just crazy.
And I guess you can just roll it all into the same loan. So
yeah,
who am I to argue?
Yeah, yeah. You go to Ford to order it. And,
yeah.
Yeah. So did that, and then the rest was just typical sober person Vegas, I guess would be the lack of a better term. We went hiking up at like Red Rocks and stuff, and then saw the Hoover Dam, and then Jess had never actually been to Fremont Street. Like literally had no clue what it was. Like she had been to Vegas 3 times and had only gone to the Strip and only gone to the bars, like just for bachelorette parties. So when I was like, "Well, we need to go to Fremont Street," no idea what I was talking about. Her favorite thing, like she loved it. She had so much fun. And then she had, like, we started the trip with her going, I don't really want to go. I'm only doing this for you. To, I think we're going to have my birthday here. And so it was super fun. And then, we didn't really do anything like Vegas. Like we walked the Strip and saw the things, and, and then went to Fremont Street, and then, did the car things and the hiking. And then, the only like sleaze thing that we did was that I went to the Erotica Museum, which was like, it's in the strip club district, and it's awesome. So it's the first floor is like, almost like a human sexuality, biology, psychology, like class. Like if you took human sexuality in college, the first floor is basically that. So there's a lot of shockingly a lot of education.
They do that to keep their tax exempt status, and then the rest of it's all just smut, right?
Yeah, it was all art. It was like legit art upstairs. So it was like it was 2 floors. It was the first floor was like literally education, and then the second floor was all art. And then what was funny was that we're just kind of walking around doing the thing, and then in the corner there's like this curtain closed, and there's people in there. And we walk by because like that's that's the direction we go. There's doing naked yoga in the middle of the Erotica Museum. It's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we were too late to do it, but whatever. But yeah, no, it was super fun. I had a great time. Finally got to do a pretty good number of things that I had on my list of things that I didn't get to do when we were there the first time. So I like Vegas. I enjoy it.
You get to go to the Peppermill.
Yep. It was probably one of my favorite restaurants with probably the worst food that I had the whole trip.
Oh, I don't remember anything about the food.
Well, I think they're known for their breakfast, and Jess and I were both kind of hungry, but not really. So we're both just like, we'll just get these sandwiches. And they were just like, they were just sandwiches.
Yeah.
It's like there wasn't anything good or special about them. And I was like, I should have got something different.
So the time I went, it was before we loaded. So back in the day whenever I was doing Optima, we loaded in at like 11 o'clock at night on Monday. And I went over and met up with like Ferris and Jeremy Swinson and Jeff Hahn, I think. And we was like, oh, we got time to kill. Let's go eat at the Peppermill, because they were staying like right across the highway from it.
Yep. And
we were there at like 6:30 in the evening, like nothing. And there was so much weird stuff going on in there. There was this like super skinny, real weird dude sitting at a table with like 5 like very provocatively dressed women, and we were building all kinds of narratives around what was happening there.
That was perfect. No, like we were there for like proper dinner time, and it was just like fairly tame. Like there really wasn't any like wild narratives to make at that point. So
yeah, I can't imagine like late night there.
That's when you want to go.
So weird, yeah.
That's what I told Jess. I was like, we need to come back here at like when way after what we would normally go to bed. Like we need to watch. Instead of going to bed, we just need to come back over here.
Yeah,
and get breakfast at midnight.
Where'd y'all stay at?
We were at Treasure Island.
Okay. Yep.
She knew we were going to do a bunch of driving, like leaving, and Treasure Island is one of the few places that has free parking.
Oh yeah.
So it was convenient to take our rental and then just come and go as we please, and it's right next to the interstate, so it's easy to get in and out.
Yeah. I've stayed more down like Horseshoe and the Link more than anything else, in which I've never been there just to go. I've always been for work. Right. So I've usually been at the will of somebody else as to where we stayed, or we stayed at the Horseshoe whenever we went for SEMA last year, and which the Horseshoe was originally the original MGM Grand.
Oh, sure.
And then it became Bally's whenever they opened the new MGM Grand, and then now they literally just changed the name and remodeled the casino a little bit, and now it's called the Horseshoe. Huh. Like, our room still had a giant bee on the wall because it was left over from Bally's. Like,
makes sense.
It's completely random, but
yeah. No, she'd always stayed at Paris, and then obviously we'd been at South Point. So, no, if we go back or when we go back, we'll probably stay over, one of the hotels or resorts kind of by Fremont Street. This is the plan. But
yeah, I've seen, I guess Circa. That's the newer one up there. Looks like it's probably pretty nice.
Yeah,
I stayed at the Plaza one time. We went there for the Mint 400 one year with Traxxas, and the like tech day and all that kind of stuff was on Fremont.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So we're like, oh yeah, we'll just stay at the Plaza. And then like I get to my room and I look out the window and there's a Greyhound station like 3 floors down on the top of the parking garage or something. I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we went over to the Neon Museum, which is the one thing I'll say is not worth it at all. It's way too expensive. But like we were like, oh, we'll just walk there from Fremont Street, and you have to walk through like the heroin district to get there.
Yeah, that was my lasting memory of the exploring that we did whenever we stayed on Fremont was like there's a hard line.
Yep.
Where like tourist friendly stops and like real Vegas starts.
Yep. Yeah, and the Neon Museum is 2 blocks past that line. Just so we're clear, like you go under the bridge of the interstate to get there, and there's nothing good happening under that bridge. That was it was when we rolled into town. It was kind of funny because like we're dealing with traffic to get to where we need to go, and then all of a sudden you hear this like thundering herd of motorcycles. And I was like, oh man, that's a bunch of motorcycles. And as we go past, it's literally an entire pack of mongrels. I'm like, oh, that's
okay.
Those are real bikers.
So I remember the last time I went to Fremont, all of the casinos had signs out front that was basically no club.
Yeah, no colors.
Clothes on, yeah. I'm like, oh, I wonder who messed that up.
Yep.
Like which casino had a shootout in it or something?
Casinos, I'm assuming. And then
I read a book a while back that was about Benny Binion that started the Horseshoe.
Yep. And
talking about like them like throwing people out behind the Horseshoe, which it's Binion's now, but because they lost the Horseshoe name at some point a long time ago, but that was originally the Horseshoe Club, I guess. And like they'd take people out back and just beat them within an inch of their life if they caught them like counting cards or anything like that, and like just leave them for dead. And,
Old Vegas was no fucking joke.
Yeah. And like Binion's still looks exactly the same on the inside.
Yes. We walked through a little bit of it. It does.
Yeah. And it has a hotel on top of it, and I guess it's like they tried to kind of do it like kitschy 60s kind of like throwback, but apparently it's just trashy. I'll
probably love it. I'd probably love every second of it. I don't know. I like to be on the sleazy side of Vegas. I really enjoy that. Just enough sleaze to make me happy.
My favorite thing staying in the middle of the strip is always just to go out. Like we go get dinner, have a drink, and then just hit one of the little stands on the side of the strip somewhere and grab a beer and just walk around until 11:30 at night and just gawk at the train wreck.
Yes, absolutely. So we don't really gamble. Like if we had been there longer and Jess wasn't like completely bored with it, I would have played cards. But we really just don't gamble. But Jess absolutely doesn't gamble. She was an accountant, so she knows how casinos work.
Yeah.
But
they don't build all those neon signs and towers and all that stuff by giving people money. No.
Yep. But she wanted to throw a few dollars at the Buffalo slot machine. And so there's one right by the elevator. And so we go over there and she's like, all right, we'll do it. We'll play for a little bit and then we'll move on. And so she puts a $5 bill in and I was like, no, like don't if you're gonna put a $5 bill in, you might as well not put anything in. But so she's like, no, we'll put the $5 bill in. But like we didn't take a second to like pay attention to what we were doing. We just put the $5 bill in, and then we were like, okay, well, you hit the button. But it like defaults to a $5 bet.
Oh,
so she put $5 in,
Bing.
hits the button, and we lost $4.60. and it's $1 minimum like to do the so like I was like just put a 20 in, we'll do a couple hits, and then we'll go down to the $1 bets, right? And so we did a couple $1 bets, and like obviously within 3 minutes the 20 was gone, and she's like, this is fucking stupid.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you gotta find the nickel or the penny.
Yep.
Section, and then so my thing for a long time, we would just walk through casinos.
Yeah,
like, we'd just be a group of us after we got done with dinner. There'd be a group of us meet back down in the lobby and just go roam through. And there was like one guy in our group that he would just stop and throw $20 in a machine just randomly. Like we'd be at like casino number 3 that we've roamed through. We're like 2 miles into this endeavor. He'd just see a random machine turn a 20 into $100. Within 2 minutes.
We all have those friends.
Like you,
it's never us, but it's our friends.
And then my thing was always like, and this seems to have kind of gone away. I didn't see them as much the last time I went, but cartoon themed or like pop culture themed machines, like Back to the Future or Family Guy or something like that.
Once in a while, yeah,
yeah. There used to be a lot more of them, and I would come across one and be like, that's interesting. Sit down and like throw $20 in it or something like that.
Right.
End up turning 20 into 28 or something like that after 10 minutes. But
I would always go the other direction.
Yeah.
There's no like I'm down. I'm only down like 100 or 200 in my whole life, but I'm still down. No. But yeah, I mean that was our trip. It was super fun. I would have liked to have gone one more day. I felt like but I know like we don't. 3 days was enough. It was super fun. I'll go back, do other things.
That's what I always found that like after the third night, it was always like it's probably about an. And I don't even like I would have 1 or 2 beers a night,
sure,
with rare exception, and never gamble. So like, I don't even really get into the things that people need to get out of Vegas to get away from.
Exactly. Like, and it helped that we did a very like not anything to do with Vegas day. Like we went to the Red Rocks Canyon. Yeah. We didn't have a reservation, so we didn't get to do the drive. We just did like the publicly available stuff. And then we obviously drove up to the Hoover Dam, and then we checked out the Boulder Basin of Lake Mead, that area. And they're not joking. It literally is like there's no beach, even though like everyone's like pretending it's a beach. It's just boulders. Like it's just like we showed up and we're like, let's just put our feet in the water and just relax for a minute. No, it's just rocks because it's the middle of the fucking desert, and so there's no sand. And everyone has aqua socks on, but except for us.
Yeah, there was nothing there to turn these rocks into sand, so it's just rocks.
It's just rocks. And my God, is that lake low? That's concerning.
I saw a clip from. So we drove over the dam, going out there and coming back.
Oh yeah.
On the new bridge. So I've never even actually seen the dam because you can't see it from the new bridge.
No. Like you can see the trucks and stuff when you're down, like by it, because you can walk. That's like it's a walking bridge. You can go onto the bridge, and like that's where I got my picture of the dam.
Yeah.
And it was 100 and the thermostat said it was 105, and 105 has never felt so fucking good in my whole life. It was.
It's a dry heat.
Oh, it was amazing. I was so happy. I was. The theme of the last 2 weeks has been anytime there's a minor inconvenience, either with work, life, home, whatever.
This wouldn't happen in the desert.
Jess and I turned to each other. This shit wouldn't happen if we lived in the desert. It has nothing, like literally has nothing to do with the situation whatsoever, and it's not true. Usually 9 times out of 10.
Never mind the fact that in another month it's going to be 115 there.
Shh. It's a dry heat. But yeah, I think they'd gone 17 days in a row with a record-breaking heat or something crazy.
Ugh.
Yeah, not good.
That's what I've only ever. I guess I was there in the spring once or twice, but basically every time I've been there in November. So late October, early November.
Sure.
So just like high 70s, low 80s, and then down into the like 60s or 50s at night because there's no humidity to keep the temperature around.
Yep. No, it was great. It was super fun. And we've definitely talked about Vegas a lot longer than I thought we would, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I can talk about Vegas.
That's kind of what I realized as we started. I was like, you have Vegas stories, so we could actually do a whole show just on this, but we're not going to.
Yeah.
But you also did some travel and leisure.
Yeah. I also had a birthday, and I, like you, I have my birthday hidden on Facebook. I don't want anybody to know it. I don't ever make a deal out of it, but this year I was turning 40, and I figured if you're going to make a deal of it, you might as well do it when you're turning 40. So
perfect scenario.
Jen got some friends together, and we went karting the weekend before it. We have an outdoor karting thing here that has like 50-mile-an-hour go-karts.
Oh, nice.
They're just rental carts, and it's an absolute blast, especially whenever you have a group of like 25 people in a group and like 8 of you are idiots that brought your own helmets to the thing. So we had multiple races where we're just like there was the last one we did, it was me and 2 buddies that we're just like picking people off like the 3 Civics and the Fast and the Furious. Or I said at the time we were like the 3 Civics and the Fast and the Furious, and then after thinking about it some more, I was thinking we're more like the 3 Ricer cars and the Cars movie.
That's exactly where I was going to go. That's exactly what I expected.
So then my birthday was that week, and then that Saturday we flew out, and whenever I decided I wanted to do a trip, I was like, I don't know what I want to do, because like we have stuff we want to do in like Canada or like, you know, going overseas in
big
some
trips.
form, but it's like everything I could think of. It's like I don't want to go to Banff in March. I don't want to go to Scotland in March.
No, you don't. Nope.
Like I barely want to go in the height of summer to Scotland from what I've seen, but and then we've always talked about doing the PCH through California, like flying out, renting a car, and doing it as a road trip kind of thing. Yep. So she threw that out, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's perfect," because I wanted to take a full week to do it because I hadn't taken a full week off of work in forever, and we always just do like bookend weekend trips, so we maximize time off.
But I honestly don't know if I've ever taken a full week off.
Yeah, this was
as an adult. I mean.
Yeah, we did it for our honeymoon, but it was Memorial Day weekend, so it was technically only 4 days away from work. But
actually, that's not true. France would have been, or like Le Mans that week. That would have been actual.
Oh yeah,
that would have been the only time as an adult that I've taken weeks off of work.
Yeah. So we flew into San Francisco, and then she planned it all out. Like, did a lot of research on, you know, like do you go north to south? Do you go south to north? What are the things to do along the way to kind of break it up some? And so we landed on flying into San Francisco and then ending up in San Diego because we'd done a trip to San Diego forever ago.
Sure.
And like, San Diego was super fun. Like Pacific Beach was awesome. I'll follow up on that later. So flew into San Francisco and immediately just turned south. We'll do like San Francisco things on a dedicated trip later because like the airport's nearly an hour away from the Golden Gate Bridge or any of the other kind of stuff.
In the wrong direction too.
Yeah. So headed south, and our first stop was in Monterey, and she's a big John Steinbeck fan, and he did a lot of his writing was around being in Monterey, and specifically being on Cannery Row. And so we stayed in a hotel like on Cannery Row. So that whole area kind of sprung up in the 1920s around this fishing industry that was around fishing for sardines. And then this was like in the 20s and 30s. Well, then, like every fishing industry in the 20s and 30s, all of a sudden there was no fish left.
Yep.
So there's all these big buildings from these, canning factory deals, and it's kind of turned into this tourist destination. So we did 2 nights there, and then conveniently it's 20 minutes down the road from Laguna Seca. So our second day there, so coming into Monterey, first off, the first thing that clues you in that you're in kind of an interesting area, the road going down into Monterey, there's a used car dealer on the side of it, and I look over and I'm like, that's a lot of Porsches. That's a lot of pre 1999 911s. They're like 5 deep on this entire used car. There's like 40 911s just sitting outside at this car dealership. And the newest is like late 90s. I'm like, how are they outside? How are they just sitting outside? There's like, I don't know,
an
like
ocean
$2 million.
right there. Yeah,
and there's like $2 million worth of cars sitting there. So we did the Monterey Aquarium like the next day, and then that afternoon went to Laguna Seca. So the track there is actually a recreation area also.
Yes,
because it's in a park. So you go up to the gate after you drive up this crazy ass steep road to get into the track. Get to the gate and I tell the lady, I'm like, just need, a day use pass. And she's like, okay, awesome. Yeah, it'll just be $10. So she swipes my card and gives me the little parking permit thing. And she's like, have you been here before? I'm like, I have not. And she's like, okay, so here's what you want to do. You'll go across the bridge that takes you into the track, and then you're going to turn here and do this, and then it'll be day use parking. And then walk up the hill, and that's the corkscrew. I'm like, awesome. You knew exactly what the plan was.
Not her first day.
Yeah. So while I'm standing there talking to her, I hear a car come up, and there's a stop, like there's a little like guard shack thing and a stop sign. And I hear this car come up that's kind of got this low rumble to it, and it just breezes right on through. It ignores the stop sign. And I turn and look, and it's a Porsche 959.
Oh.
And I'm
okay.
Like, I picked my jaw up off of the ground. And the lady's like, well, some people don't think rules apply to them, I guess. I'm like, well, he's driving $3 million. He's driving a $3 million car, so he's probably right.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a good enough look at it to tell if it had just like a black license plate with the logo on it. So I'm not sure if it was one of the Canepa like resto mod cars or what. I kind of think that's what it was, but I was floored. Just could not believe what I saw.
Yeah.
So we pull into the track, and I'm not like, there's not a lot of signage saying like, where to go park or whatever. And you get down to the entrance to the main part of the paddock, and there's a lady standing there with her vest on, and she comes up and says, how can I help you? I'm looking for where I need to park for my day use parking. And she's like, oh, and she looks and realizes we have a kid in the car. And she's like, are you just wanting to go to the corkscrew? Like, yeah. And she's like, all right. So turn around here, and there's 2 roads. The first one's closed off, so take the second one. You'll drive up the hill. There's a sign that says no unauthorized vehicles. Don't worry about that. Just drive past it. And you'll like, it'll curve to the left as you get up, and then you're just right there next to some picnic tables, and you're overlooking the corkscrew, and you don't have to like walk up this giant hill. I'm like, you are awesome.
They seem super chill on these off days.
Yeah, so it was a hooked on driving just HPDE day perfect. With a 103 decibel limit. So like there was a little like it wasn't.
I mean,
like
103 is not. Yeah, 103 is not that quiet.
No, yeah, 103 is a loud day for them. I think most of the public days are like 90 there or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's not loud.
No. That's what breeds all of the crazy exhaust setups that you always see posted about. But so we hung out there for like an hour and just watched cars go through the corkscrew, and the hill that the corkscrew is on, if you like look back toward the front straight, you see them coming up for the final turn and then the straight, and then like coming down into the hairpin and then through like 3, 4, 5 and then around up there. Like you can see like half the track from this hill.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. To go there and watch like an IndyCar race or something like that would be super wild, because you can be up there and just you can see so much of the track. And it like, whenever we were down by the water, it was chilly. And then we go 20 minutes inland and up on this hill, and it's like, it's blazing hot up here. So it was trippy, just the climate change in that, in that amount of space.
Oh, for sure.
So from there, we just had kind of a driving day down through Big Sur and into Santa Barbara. So we stopped at this trail, just this random trail off the side of the road, and somewhere along the way through Big Sur, and it's a road. It's a road for vehicles, but it's just a hiking trail. Okay. And it's like, from the road, it's pointed down at like a 20-degree grade. Like it's
that's what always was crazy to me about California, is that like there's beaches, but like you're 100 feet above them to get to those beaches. There's only like if it's not in the city, there's like you have these gigantic cliffs that get you between you and the beach.
Yeah, so that whole stretch through from Monterey down to Santa Barbara was just these crazy switchbacks and big climb, big descent. Do a big climb and you're going through trees, and then all of a sudden you're out of the trees and you realize, oh, we're like 300 feet above the water. Something just crazy, and the water's like right there. It's not like it's nuts. So this trail like goes down and like it like turns back on itself a couple of times as you're going down. And we go to the right of it, and we don't really like. We were originally planning on going to this one that was going to a waterfall, and then we happened upon the waterfall thing was closed, so we just happened upon this thing. And we get all the way down to the end of it. It's in a cove with these giant boulders, and it's 100 feet up on both sides, and there's a seal just laying on a rock over here, and there's like 15 people down here that are all just sitting on these rocks, not saying anything, just listening to the water and just chilling out. And I was like, this is magical. Like, this is such a crazy, just overall experience. And
that tranquility is very real for me. Like like when I'm by the ocean, it's my whole mood changes. Like when we would go to Florida, and like, 'cause Jess and I did a Fort Lauderdale trip, and like the whole point was I didn't want to do anything besides sit near water. I just wanted to be by the ocean, and it's I'm fascinated by the ocean in every sense of that, like the insanity and the bigness of it, but like that tranquility is very real for me, for sure. Yeah. So I'm very jealous that you got to do that.
Yeah. So we hung out on that spot, and then we came back up, and it was like, well, there's this fork that goes like over a little bridge and then goes another direction. I'm like, well, let's go see what that does. Like, we're here. Like, we still got a good amount of driving to do, but let's see what this does. And we go across this bridge, and then it kind of winds through the trees a little bit, and then there's a freaking tunnel that goes through this like mountain, for lack of a better word. Yep. And then you come out on the other side of it and you're in this cove that is just sheer cliffs all the way around and waves crashing down below you. And it's like this just crazy turquoise water. And you walk down this path that has a handrail on it and then get down to the end and you're 75 feet above the water. And there's just a bunch of rocks at the end of it that people are sitting on. And I just hung out there for a little while. Just looked around at everything. And so Jen found a thing about this trail, and it was originally done. They used it for logging, and they cut that tunnel to bring logs through to put them on boats that would come down into that cove, which is wild in like the 1830s or something like that.
Just
like
thinking what it would take to move a tree down that.
Yeah. But this tunnel has been there since like the 1880s or something like that.
Cool.
Something just crazy, which is kind of spooky that we walked in it and it's just got like wood, there's just like a wood frame inside
100-year-old
it,
frames.
Yeah. Yeah. Which the wood's been replaced at some point. But,
I'm sure.
So did Santa Barbara is just like a chill beach town that's not like, it's not like spring break. It's just pretty laid back. It was pretty well our speed in hindsight.
Sounds perfect.
And like found good seafood places to eat and just chilled there for a few days and then drove on from there to San Diego, which took us through LA. So we went to the Peterson Museum, of course, because,
so
what else
jealous.
is there to do if you're obsessed with cars like an idiot, then go to the Peterson.
I'm so goddamn jealous.
So I had been probably 12 or 13 years ago. And like, since I've been there, they've had a ton of investment come into it. Like they put this crazy like art facade around the building that's all like stainless steel. Whenever I went there originally, it just looked like a museum. Like it was just an old, just an old building. And they've, at the time that I went before, there was rumors of like, the vault that the VIP people get to go into. And that has like, there's a bunch of cars on display, but the really good stuff's downstairs. Nobody ever gets to see that stuff. So, they figured out that's an easy commodity to monetize. Turns out, so we did our the general admission tickets like $20 or something like that, and then for another $30 you can get into the vault.
Weird. Who would have thought?
Yeah. So we got there shortly after it opened, and the guy at the front desk is like, "Yeah, so head downstairs for the vault. It's pretty quiet right now. It's a good time to get down there." So, all right, so. We get down there and you go down like 2 sets of stairs and then like make a left around a corner. And then there's a badge access door that's actually all of their like offices and everything, like the business offices of the museum, and go down this hallway and then up a couple stairs. And there's a set of double doors and there's a lady at a desk that's there waiting to give you the basically read you the riot act before you go in of like, stay in front, you don't go between the cars. You stay in front of the cars because they're all just like
don't you touch
in
them.
Parking spaces. Yeah. And like, okay, yeah, no problem. And so the section that she's in is all like super early, like pre-war stuff. Like there's a replica of the Daimler original Benz motor car thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all like teens up through 30s stuff. And then you turn a corner and it's a giant group of old race cars, the majority of which is Formula One cars. And the two that are sitting in front are like an probably 03 Kimi McLaren F1 car. And then like a slightly later one, like a mid, I think like a 2008 or something like that.
Is that the one with the weird nose? Yeah, the weird nose that they had.
Yeah, kind of
2010.
Nose, yeah. And I like the black and silver West McLaren. Whenever I started watching Formula One, I immediately locked on to Kimi. I loved Kimi, and I loved McLaren, and that car was so fast and so fragile. it was either going to win or it was going to fail spectacularly. There was no in between. And there it is. It's just sitting right in front of me. And Jen got a video as we were walking in, and I just stopped and stared at that car with my hands on my head. Like I couldn't
believe it was right there.
That car is sitting there. And then the silver Vodafone McLaren livery was the one that's sitting next to it, and that is also just and then like in that grouping there's like 3 older IndyCar Champ Car chassis too, from back when those cars looked cool before they did what they did to them. And then so like immediately adjacent to this there's a front engine dragster that's got like 2 engines in it, and one from the 60s has got this crazy like aero bodywork on it, and then like a couple of first gen Corvette road race cars, and then behind that is a whole bunch more Formula One cars, and I'm like I don't know where to look.
I need a moment.
I needed several moments.
Yep.
And then like what's really wild from, I don't know that I got a picture of it in there. There's a row along the wall of just all different year F1 cars, and there's like an early or like mid 90s McLaren F1 car,
like this, basically like the Senna one.
Yeah, it's a Marlboro. It's the Marlboro livery. Like it is the car that you think of whenever you think of Senna and McLaren.
Yep.
And then sitting next to it, there's like a 2022 model Toro Rosso that I think was just the show car thing. But you could literally put like 5 of that McLaren into this giant monstrosity of a car, and it's literally like it's the size of a crew cab truck.
Oh, it's huge. Like it's sitting next to an HHR, and it's bigger than the HHR.
Yeah, and it's one of those where you. Oh, and that one's not even.
That's not the one you're talking about.
The McLaren's not even that one's like a 2013 or something. Like that's not even as big as the 2022 car was.
That's absurd.
And like I'm looking at I'm looking at the car and I'm looking at it, it's like this tire is just matte. Like this tire looks like a tire that would go on my truck.
Yeah.
And I went and looked up the dimensions, and like these tires, they're 28-inch tall tire. Like nearly 29 inches. I'm like, no wonder these cars are so damn big and so heavy.
Uh-huh.
And like they don't it breeds like they don't race well. They don't do it. It's just like, and like, I guess
it's all starting to make sense.
Yeah. And like I've seen them. I've seen the new gen cars, like especially the show cars. I've seen them on their own in different places, but it's really stark whenever you see it next to an older car.
Yep.
And then whenever you can see all of these different generations of cars, you can just see the growth of it. And it was extremely, extremely cool to just get to see all of those just sitting out next to each other and see that kind of history. And then I turn the corner and there's a McLaren Can-Am car. Like the papaya, like that is the papaya. Like the McLaren cars now are orange because of this car. Like and with the big block in the back with the uneven length intake trumpets on it on the ITBs, just this is the race car. Like if you're gonna take me back and put me in a race car somewhere, this is the race car that I'm going to die in.
Yes.
And just literally everywhere you turn in the vaults is just something that's super wild. There's like some kind of old street rod. I don't speak. It's 32 Ford ish, but it's not a 32 Ford. It's got a Ferrari V12 in it.
Oh, geez.
There's an orange, like a bright orange metallic RX-7, but it's like that's not
something's
like
off about it, right? Yeah,
FD RX-7. I'm like, I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at here. Oh, this is the full size buck that they use to like nail down the styling of the actual FD RX-7. Like this is just a fiberglass shell to show the like a full size, mock up.
Yeah, because it has the Miata front end, but the FD rear, like 2/3 of it.
Yeah,
it's Because I saw that when I was scrolling through pictures earlier. I was like, that's some Miata front bumper on an FD. There's a history. There's a story here.
There's one corner that's just got a whole bunch of like Yamaha super bikes just kind of shoved into it. And then as I'm looking, I realize there's a motorcycle that Dan Gurney designed called the Alligator, where you like the seat, instead of being all the way at the top, you sit down in it.
Oh yeah.
And then kind of lean up, like your chest goes up against the back of the gas tank on it. And I remember seeing a story about it whenever I was a kid. It's just, here it is. It's just chilling. Like, I don't think it was ever a production bike. I think like this might be like the bike.
Yeah.
Or, it was one of a handful of them. Like Dan freaking Gurney designed that.
I'd be real curious how you ride that.
I remember it looking super awkward to ride, but the thing about it was that it gets the rider's weight down. Yep. So like, I remember seeing video of it, and it would go from full lean one direction to full lean the other direction in no time, because like there's no inertia. Like everything is so low in it.
Yeah, I just need to see someone sitting on it to like picture how you would interact.
It's just as weird as it. It's kind of like your shoulders and your head would be in the normal spot, but the rest of your body just goes down instead of just laying back, or like stretching out rearward.
Yeah, I'm to me, I'm picturing it is that you're sitting there so low that your feet are out in the front, like as if you're on like a chopper. Or like, those ape hangers. Like, so like to me, I'm picturing that your arms are like way up and over that gas tank and you can't see a fucking thing. Which I'm sure is not that bad, but it's just like that the visual of how low that seat is, because it's below the cylinder head. So I mean, it's way down there. So you're sitting basically almost in line with the, I don't know, maybe an inch or two above the center line of your wheel.
Yeah.
It's like you're low.
So the picture of it with a person on it, you sit on it more like what a cruiser would be.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to Google
this. And your arms come straight back from the handlebars and your head is above that. So like it's not as, I think the bike overall is shorter than what it looks like in a picture in isolation, but
yeah, it looks way worse from a, like,
seeing the bike on its own, it doesn't process what the scale is of it.
Not at all.
So there was an NSX that was, it's a right-hand drive. It had NSX-R on it, which I like. Honda people, I'm sure, can tell me why that's
it's very
a
important.
Really special car.
It's very special and important.
And then like there was a corner that was a bunch of pre-war stuff, and it had, so there was a few different like French companies that made these like super aerodynamic, like teardrop shaped streamlined cars in the 30s. It was like Delahaye and Tabalago, and there's a Delahaye sitting behind a Tabalago in this corner. And it's one of those like I don't really have that much interest in pre-war cars, but I love these cars. Look like they were like in a Dick Tracy comic book or something.
Yep.
They're so extreme and they're so streamlined and stuff, and seeing it in person, and it looks like a fantasy just brought to life in front of you.
Yeah, the wild ideas that they were actually turning into real cars back then.
Yeah. And also looking at like, these big teardrop shaped fenders on this thing, and knowing that like some dude in France worked for like 3 weeks beating that out of a flat sheet of aluminum or steel, Yep. There was one room that was just BMW stuff, and it had the E46 M3 that like the red, white, and blue livery, like the car that raced in, I don't know if it ran like Le Mans, or I think of it in like World Challenge at that time. that like Boris Said and Hans Stuck drove, like their names were on the door of it. And that was another. I walked into this room and there's all of these like crazy famous BMWs, but I locked on that car and I just kind of stood there in awe for a second that like I'm actually looking at that car.
Yep.
And then so the main part of the museum there's a lot of automotive history stuff, and then there's a lot of like it's a lot of like movie cars and like pop culture type things.
I would imagine they get a ton there just because it's Hollywood's right there.
Yeah,
it's not too hard to get cars down the road.
Yeah, and it's all they've done a really good job of telling the place that cars hold in American culture, and then like the history of the industry as a whole as well. But like I guess the third, we started at the top after we did the vault and worked our way down, and the third floor has a whole row of movie cars, and like the first one that's there is the 76 Bumblebee Camaro from Transformers. Yep. Which is cool. It's like it's so ratty, and there's so many just like funny little details of it. And then I look down this row of cars, and there's all kinds of different. There's a Batmobile. There's all kinds of different stuff. But I see just the front corner of the top of like the hood and the fender of this yellow Jeep pickup truck. I don't remember if they called those Comanches or what this one would have been. But it's a yellow Jeep with a blue graphic on it and a big old push bar. And I instantly knew that is the truck from Twister.
It helped. Okay, I couldn't place where that was from.
Yeah, so it is the truck that they're driving in the first part of the original Twister movie, and it has the Dorothy like storm probe thing in the back of it. Giant geek out moment. Like I was almost as geeked over that as I was the damn Formula One cars because I'm a huge nerd. But
happens.
There was a whole section that was just wedge cars, like Giugiaro designed, like Stratus and like original Countach and like some Maserati stuff. Original Countach is the most mind-boggling car.
It's so wild. It's such a weird car to see in person.
It's so wide. It's so short. There's a Maserati sitting next to it that's just like it's a pretty low slung car. It's not something that if you saw it on the road, it would take you back.
Sure.
The Countach barely came up to the mirrors on it. It was mind-boggling.
Well, have you ever taken a look at the rear wheels on those things? They're like
they're huge.
They're like 345 on 15s. Like it's the weirdest setup.
And then the one that was in that exhibit was like original generation. None of the because I love the later cars with all of the the flares and the kind of the body kit look and the wing. This one was no wing and just clean body front to back, like the original pinned design of it. And there's no car there. There's nothing to it. It's so low. That was another one that I just had to just stop and stare at for a little while. There was a section that was like from supercar to hypercar, and it's got a silver McLaren F1, which is just the ultimate.
Yep.
And then two of the Gordon Murray T33, and then like the Heritage one that kind of just looks like a modernized F1 even more so.
Is that the T50 or whatever?
I don't remember what the last one, because
the newest one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good looking car.
Yeah, they all three of them were super cool. And then like the F1 with its giant chunky rear tire on it. I love that so much. But and then the kind of probably the highlight of it for me, even though I didn't like I thought the movies were a punchline when they came out, and now I've come to be really nostalgic for them, but there's an entire Fast and Furious exhibition right now.
I'd enjoy it.
There's the Supra, obviously the orange Supra, and then they've got one wall that is all four of the cars from the very first race. It's Dom's RX-7, the Civic, the red and yellow Integra, and then Paul Walker's Eclipse all lined up like they did on the line in that first race.
Oh, that's perfect.
And then they've got a projector going in the corner that's just showing like action scenes with the cars from the first couple of movies. And like my son's 5, he has, obviously we haven't showed him any of those yet, so he doesn't really understand what these cars are. But whenever we were in there, that race was that, like, that scene was on, and he got to watch it, and I was like, see, like, that's these cars, like those 4 cars are these 4 cars right here.
So is he like way into it and you got to go watch him now, or is he's still young enough to kind of?
I think he was kind of, this
would have been hour 3 or 4 at this point, right?
He was kind of car fatigued. Yeah. He was excited to get to sit down and watch TV for a minute. So
that's fair.
But then they had a bunch of other cars from the movie in that area. That, like, there's a 69 Mustang that Pure Vision Design built that was in one of the movies. It's one of the coolest Mustangs ever built. And then, like, some of the special cars, like the ramp car that had 6 wheels on it.
Yeah.
And then just to give you a real good kick in the balls right as you're walking out of the exhibit, there's a 2-post lift in, like, the last little corner of it before you exit that section of it that has the white Supra that they had Paul drive off in the last movie that he was in. And, like, I looked at it and realized what car it was, and it just kind of kicked me in the gut a little bit.
Yep.
Of knowing, kind of the significance of that. But altogether, that section was really cool.
Yeah, that'd be really nostalgic for me, because, like, they had not all of those, obviously. They had a couple of them, and I think they were actually replicas. They weren't actually from the movie. But at Volo, they had a whole movie car section. It was kind of the same thing. Like, they're slapped together cars that look good on film. You don't look at the details because they're bad.
Yeah.
But you sit there and you just appreciate it.
Yeah. The one of the seeing the RX-7, like, I don't, like, of all the cars that you see from that, you don't see his first RX-7 from that original movie that often. That car kind of got lost, and they've got a Charger too that, and, like, his Charger changed so much through the movies that, like, the one that's there has a bunch of the, like, it doesn't have the Charger grill on it. It's got, like, there's a bunch of stuff that's been changed on it. It's like, I want the one from the original movie that was just a Charger with a big ass blower hanging out of the hood. So run through the last few things here kind of quick, but there's a whole Aston Martin section that has a Valkyrie in it.
Yep.
And I just had to stand at every angle and look at how that car is designed around the air. It's a Formula One car with fenders draped on it and 2 seats in it. It is super wild. The whole front of the car is just like a Formula One car, like keel.
Just like
it's
tunnels.
Just a big giant opening with a tunnel in it from the front. Just super wild. They have one, like, off-road racing section, which was super cool. Has like, there was a Tennerfaust, like, Volkswagen Beetle rallycross car, and like an Ultra 4 truck, and a bunch of different kind of, like, stuff from all different disciplines of off-road racing. But the 2 coolest things, so back in, I guess, early 2000s probably, in Unlimited and in Baja racing, like Score Desert Racing, there was this open wheel car the Terrible Herbst team did that they called the Tiburon. There's a giant shark painted on the side of it. It's basically a trophy truck with no body on it, and it's still the coolest thing ever. I think this one's a replica of it. I think the original one burned, or this might be like a rebuild of the truck that burned or something. I don't remember the exact details of it, but that was awesome to see in person. I've always seen video of it just, like, eating up whoops and stuff. And then it's sitting right next to Monster Tajima Pikes Peak car.
Yep.
Which he's the one that did the Escudo that everybody drove in Gran Turismo and it ran 400 miles per hour or whatever. So to see one of those cars in person too was super cool. And then the first floor had this giant like cars are rad section. There was a lot of like 80s, 90s nostalgia stuff because
nice.
Because
that's vintage now.
All of us people that remember 80s and 90s things now have enough money to go and like actually enjoy them at destinations such as this. So there was a Panos GT car, which is the Esperante, which was like the front engine prototype essentially kind of thing. This one's a closed cockpit. I think it would have technically run like the GT1 class or something like that.
Yeah.
But crazy flip-flop purple paint because, how do you get more 90s, 2000s than that? An 80s Toyota like GTP prototype car with the Toyota yellow, orange, and red down the side that was a Dan Gurney built car sitting right in front of the Panos. GMC Cyclone Indy Pace truck from like 1992 or something like that. It's PPG, so it's like 12 different colors of silver and purple and turquoise because 90s.
I really appreciated when PPG was big into sponsoring racing because you got those crazy colors and they actually used their product and it was super cool.
Yeah. Another 959, which was. So I saw the one that pulled into Laguna Seca. I saw another one on a trailer at some point when we were driving, and then saw this one in the museum. It's sitting next to a Vector W12. Also,
just
why not?
Yeah, of course.
And then they had a bunch of concept cars in there too. And I'm a huge nerd just in general, but I'm a huge concept car nerd.
Yep.
So. All of this stuff. There was Chrysler Copperhead. There was a Pontiac thing that was kind of like there was a little bit of a precursor to the Aztec. There was a Ford had a concept car of the Probe. It was called like the Probe 4 or something like that. That was this like it looked like something. It looked like a cast off extra from a RoboCop movie. It's like. Yeah, it's just everywhere you look, there was tons of cool stuff in there. We got there at like 10:15. We left at 1:15. I could have spent the entire day there. My kid would have murdered me. And then also, we still had to get out of LA and drive another like 2.5 hours down the road to get to San Diego. So, we left there.
You were real close then. You traveled like 30 miles.
Well, it was 2.5 hours by the Google thing, and it was one of those where we left the museum at 1:15. We stopped at a Chick-fil-A or something just to get food because it was like we just need something safe. And then we finally got to San Diego at like 6:30. I was like, I don't know how this happened. Like, where did the time disappeared somewhere? I don't.
That drive is not long in mileage, but it takes forever. It's crazy how long that drive takes.
Yeah, and in which we did detour a little bit because again, my fascination with weird old dumb mechanical stuff. I wanted to go through Long Beach and stop and just look at the side of the Queen Mary.
Yep,
just because how often do you get to see an ocean liner from the 1910s, it turns out it's kind of a dump, but
you mean Long Beach?
Well, yeah. In which that also kind of it had the side benefit of I got to look down part of the Long Beach Grand Prix track as we were going through Long Beach, so that was cool.
That's cool.
But and then, I made it to San Diego and figured out that Pacific Beach is kind of like a spring break kind of town, and we're kind of like, 40 and 37 years old, and maybe spring break town's not really our thing anymore.
Yeah. I get that.
But went to the San Diego Zoo and had a couple fun days there, and by the time by the time Saturday rolled around, it was like, I'm kind of ready to be back on Central Time, I think. So, but it was a super, super cool trip, and something that like we've checked a lot of boxes of like, yeah, whenever we go back and do this again, we need to like fly into here and do this and this, and then just go back up there and then go back home. Like we don't need the bottom half of it, I think, or maybe down to Santa Barbara, but I could do that trip just going into San Francisco and then just doing Monterey and then going back, or Monterey and down into Big Sur. All the forest and stuff around the Big Sur stuff was really cool. So
yeah, that drives on my short list of things I want to do. I mean, because I got to do the Highway 1 in Florida over going to the Keys, and then so the Pacific Coast Highway's next on my list of ones I want to do. I've always wanted to do the Route 66.
Yeah.
Just start to finish. Like, I don't care how long it takes. I don't care if it's really boring. That Route 66 that's got to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so really cool me would have flown into San Francisco and bought one of the like 27 sub $10,000 BMW wagons. But realistic me that was there with my family, we rented a Hyundai Tucson.
Damn it. It's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Think of the content we could have got out of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next time we do it, it's going to have to be in some kind of cool car with a bike rack on it, because I want to be there. We rented a bike one day in Santa Barbara, or rented bikes, but I want to take my bike that I want to ride, and ideally kiddo be big enough that he can ride his own deal, and we can just like, because everywhere we went had like dedicated bike paths that you could take.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Cover a lot of ground with. So that's the plan for the next time that we do it. So
no, that sounds super fun. Like all of it sounds great.
Yeah, going down the one, we just kept seeing like, oh, there's like the cleanest E36 I've seen in forever, with a 4-point roll bar in it, just cruising. It's like, yep, that guy's got it figured out.
Yep.
So that'll be the next time we do it. We'll just fly in and buy the car and pick up a box of tools, and
when you get to that point in life where you buy your Porsche, you'll just put that all as one trip.
Yeah, because like buying something out there and driving a good section of that and then just driving it home like that's a cool like spring break with the kid kind of trip.
Yep. Core memories. That's
Yep. And he did awesome the whole time. He did better with the driving on the LA day for sure. He did better with the driving than I did. So
yeah, that LA traffic's no joke.
Yeah. It was weird. It wasn't even like we weren't even like sitting stopped or anything. It just took forever.
Yeah. It's just nonstop. I mean, it's one of those, we'll just add another lane, and it doesn't fix it. Oh yeah. We were talking about it. I was like, how is it like this all the time? Like, this is a 12-lane highway, and it's just always bumper to bumper. It was 2:30 in the afternoon, and we're rolling 20 miles an hour. Like, we didn't ever just sit stopped, but just yeah. Nope, that was my experience too. I thought it was really strange. Yeah, this is only 45 miles. That won't take very long. No. Yeah, it took all damn day. Yep. Yep. Good times. I like this as a travel and leisure podcast. I like being a travel and leisure podcast as well. There seems to be less stress. So if you have a travel and leisure related business, you would like to advertise with us. Yes. We are trying to do more travel and leisure activities this year. Mm-hmm. I still plan on doing some racing, but more travel and leisure. I'm going to travel to Watkins Glen possibly. And have some leisure while I'm there. Me too. That's my plan. I'll commit to something when the Z survives a full test day. Then I'll start buying tickets and things and start planning on like what tires to use and all that stuff. Which I think Tire Rack's going to make that decision for me based on availability, but whatever.
Sub 140, here we come.
Hell yeah! Finally get that sticker.
Yeah,
we'll see. Hopefully,
positive. It's all uphill. It's opening day.
Yeah, it's all sunshines and rainbows.
That's sunshines and rainbows.
But it's late here in the Eastern proper time. And
I think we might have done a record.
No, it's only 2:09. Maybe a record for a 2-person show, but
yeah.
Next time I'll just bring up Vegas and we'll talk for 4 hours.
Yeah, yeah. I can.
We don't have anything to talk about this week. Oh, Vegas!
I can fill a show or two with dumb Vegas stories for sure. So,
but yeah, that was fun. Vacation was fun. I'll need to do more vacations this year, I think.
Yep, highly recommended.
Yes. I didn't do near enough last year. Like moving here and then exploring Columbus was like all we did. So like there really wasn't proper vacations. So starting this year right with an actual trip out of the city to do travel and leisure.
You can branch out to Cleveland and
I have not been to I've been to Dayton a couple of times. I have not been to Cleveland yet.
Have you been to the Buc-ee's yet?
I will when I drop off the Z. So that's 2 exits down from Joe's shop. And so like when I brought the car the first time, I was like, hey man, we should have drug our feet a little bit longer because then I could have just the Buc-ee's opens on the 9th. And then of course I have to.
He was like, "Don't worry, you'll bring it back."
He literally said that because he's like, "There's no way this is the only time it's here." And he's like, "God, you're right." But apparently opened on the 9th. What's the 13th today? And it was gridlocked for like 2 days of people just trying to get in. So I'm hoping by the time like next week or later this week when I bring the Z over to Joe that I can just slip in at a time that it isn't completely chaos, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's not a time at a one in Texas that's not like kind of chaotic. So
I told Jess, I was like, how do you feel about waking up at like 1 a.m. and getting a cheesesteak burrito? She wasn't having it.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, the ones down here are crazy, but it's kind of whatever. You just kind of take your life in your own hands, getting in and out of the parking lot. That's the main thing. So.
Yeah, and I'll have a trailer with me, so that's gonna suck. And then like I don't know what the parking situation is. The exit is like it's right next to the exit, so I don't think there's like when there's trying to be a bunch of people in and out. It's like it was gridlocked up the interstate, is what I'm saying. So like. It's
oh my god!
You know what I mean? It's like that the exit was completely backed up and it's backed up the whole lane. So like, so I'm hoping that gets under control, but we'll see. But yes, I will be going to Buc-ee's as early and regularly as I can.
Oh yeah, just looking at this on the map, it kind of looks like it's in a terrible spot.
It's not great. I wish it was further off the interstate. Unless the parking situation is better than I can think of, but I doubt it.
They've done that on some of the ones here too, where they build it in a spot and it doesn't have enough feeder going into it, so it creates a.
No, the last one I was at was down in Kentucky, and that one they had like you had to go down the road to a stoplight and then take a right to get to it, and then it had its own like ecosystem away from the interstate, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
You can get in and out. It wasn't a problem. This one's not that way at all.
Well, if you get there and you can't get into it, there's always a Casey's right up the road. It looks like so.
If they had the brisket pizza, then I'll do that. But until that comes back, I'm not.
Protesting, boycotting.
It was a limited time thing, but it was the best thing they ever made, and I need it back.
That's why I refuse to get any of the special things at Chipotle.
I don't.
Because I'm gonna love it, and the next time I go, it's gonna be gone.
Yep. Every time. But it's late. I'm tired. I got a busy day tomorrow, and more planning for my next travel and leisure.
Woohoo!
We'll catch everybody eventually.
Next week.
Next week. We'll catch everybody next week.